This educational video was brought to you by Neuron Counseling. I'm Stephanie. I'm a psychotherapist and neurofeedback clinician at Neuron Counseling, a private practice in Brooklyn, New York. A lot of people have questions about what neurofeedback, also known as EEG biofeedback, is. And so I created these educational series to help provide a little bit more clarity on what neurofeedback does and what is actually being recorded and measured in the brain. Now, neurofeedback is a cutting-edge technology that helps with psychotherapy or can be a standalone treatment. Now, the best way to get started with understanding neurofeedback is to first look at the neuroanatomy of the neuron. So let's get started. Neurons are cells that are found in the nervous system. They are specialized to collect information from several other neurons, integrate, process, and distribute the information to other neurons by means of electricity. Let's start with the cell nucleus. The nucleus contains a ton of biological structures that keeps the neuron functioning properly. This includes the genetic instructions and the related machinery to translate these instructions into proteins. Now, I won't go too into depth about the nucleus for the purposes of this video. These squiggly lines that I'm now drawing are the dendrites of the neuron. This is the area of the neuron that receives information from other neurons. As you can see, the dendrites branch off in many directions. They do so in such a way to accommodate information reception from other neurons. As the dendrites get closer to the cell nucleus, they come together to form what is known as the cell body. Here, information is combined and transformed at the axon hillock, the part of the neuron that initiates electrical activity and the entry point to the axon. And I'll get to that in a second. These blue boxes are known as myelin sheaths. They act as insulators that play an important role in the speed in which the axon, as indicated in red between the myelin sheaths, sends information. These little red lines with squiggly circles at the end are called the axon terminals. When there is enough electrical activity at the axon hillock, it creates an action potential and initiates a flow of information down the axon. When the electrical activity reaches the axon terminals, the neuron fires, releasing neurotransmitters, as seen in these green circles, to be sent to other neurons. There are over 100 neurotransmitters, many of which are still under scientific investigation. The neurotransmitters that we do know of, such as dopamine, serotonin, and GABA, are often prescribed in psychotropic medication. Scientists do not entirely know how psychotropic medications work in the brain, which is why there's a trial and error when trying to find the right medication. In this regard, some people decide to go straight to neurofeedback training. They find that it's a better alternative since neurofeedback training protocols are typically tailored towards the individual. Anyhow, let's get back to how neurofeedback works. Now, there are more than 100 billion neurons in the brain, and millions of them fire at lightning speed and in varying intervals. The brain is literally emitting electricity from the scalp. Hold on while I get another marker. Now here, these lines, this is the electrical activity. Now the electrical activity here from the neuron is measured as frequencies. These frequencies are also known as brain waves. It's these brain waves that are measured and recorded in EEG biofeedback, also known as neurofeedback. You'll have to forgive my poor rendition of a person who is about to have an electrode placement on his scalp. Electrodes are placed on the scalp to record the brain waves in real time. Certain brain waves that are produced in specific areas of the brain are correlated with mental health symptoms, like those of depression and anxiety. In this way, EEG provides a tremendous amount of insight into the patient's symptomology, which can help a trained clinician provide effective services that are unique to the patient. At this point in the video, I'm just finishing up the details of the diagrams. This concludes video 1 of Jamron Counseling's Neurofeedback educational video series. If you have any questions or would like to find out more about what we do, you can visit us at jamroncounseling.com or email us at jamroncounseling@gmail.com.